Fast forward, any come our channel so AG Politics Avenue. Podcast or set when we make headlines na genre na iri exomo our haridi mya hobrak semu uria yambo ya political highways na yakuma ambassador awusi Ghana anemu ewo eye UXA. Now with regards to Ken O.Ata detention no watre say Gabby.O.Darko be dwan to ano say papa nen mayemu no ono hu ne se bia se oba Ghana asia ebia na yede nafa kwan bi so ase bia so se bia nya do na be condition krampo de man kra na akoya ase foforo afeni e betete papa na ya wanyina du ne mpanyin fie so a esanye ente se etimi esan no nti enke ebeya papa no ohwe esenka omo de ne ba enka omo emma no eye condition a enka no emugu a ibia be kra ne condition no na nkoye kunten bia ibia one surety bi ni sikaka kra bi dia tunti so ni ade ade a papa na ka chance it will follow a due process onia yemongra insimnim ne yehwe ne yeko ade de ba chene so ma me say asim GH Politics Avenue yemo imra ye insimnim
clear here. You remember I first of all wanted to go visit Ken O.Ata just to see whether he had any concerns or whatever. But I indicated a short while ago that some friends or relatives of his, I'll be very specific. I had a call from Gabby.O.Darko. He expressed that worry. And I assured him that he will have to go through the due process. I mean, everybody goes through a due process of law. So there's not going to be like, people are not going to attack him. We don't behave like that. He and that Ken himself, by his own doings, being evasive with the OSP arrest, have created this brouhaha around his case. So that is the point. So don't let nobody get me wrong. It was not my own view. It was a view expressed by Gabby.O.Darko, who is a relative of his. He made a call to me, and I said, I wanted to have an opportunity to assure him that he would have to go through the due process like anybody else goes through the due process. So that anxiety, the fear and everything was expressed by Gabby.
I see. So Gabby.O.Darko called you that Ken O.Ata
yes, he did. He thinks that his problem that he's not sure how he'll be handled or whatever. And I said, listen, I mean, this country, nobody, you go through a due process, and that is what the Attorney General has told me. And I had wanted to communicate that to Ken, if I had the opportunity to meet with him.
And after that assurance given to Gabby.O.Darko, who made that call to you,
you don't need that assurance.
Did that seem to have addressed those concerns of apprehension when you spoke to him?
No, I mean, well, he knew that, he communicated. I don't know whether he has spoken to Ken, but it looks as if he was not communicating with Ken. He was in Accra and he made that call. Okay, and he thinks that is. He thinks that is the worry that his cousin has. Then I said, who's going to harass him? He has to go through a process. When he arrives, and the Attorney General had told me that he'll be taken through the due process, like anybody else.
I see. Thank you for this very important clarification, because then it also, brings another layer of context to the issue. I'll come back to you in Savento, but Prof, I'll come to you. On now that we're getting to know a bit more detail, Gabby.O.Darko, according to Ambassador Smith, made that call, actually, about Ken O.Ata feeling, or he had this fear or apprehension that he might be treated unfairly, and reason why he refusing to come to Ghana, essentially. But the sentiments so expressed, as Kofi referenced, and then the conduct of the OSP as he referenced, does that have any possibility or locus in law to influence how the process will play out against Ken if he comes, to legitimize any sense of apprehension that he has?
Well, that influenced, can that influence the process? Well, you see, this, in terms of sentiment, okay, so we'll analyze from two perspectives. You are looking at what happens in the courtroom, and then you're also looking at public perception, so the court of public opinion. Obviously, Ken has brought this upon himself, right? By absconding, what he's done is that he's opened himself. Yes, so he's opened himself to so much opprobrium. People would, throw all manner of abuses, etc. at him. Because once he was finance minister, he ensured that the current governor of the Bank of Ghana, Isiama, Raymond Amanfo, etc., were prosecuted over the banking sector debacle. Yes, Oforiata. Oforiata, I'm saying, yes, it's him. It's him. Everything shows. It's him. Even there is a tape.
Even there are two forcing prosecution.
Yes.
Those of us who were close to the case believe that he was a mastermind.
Not just believe.
Yes.
Okay. Listen. Mr. Fosu, you've forgotten that Godfrey Dami admitted it on the tape. He said Oforiata and Akuffo were on his neck to make sure that Akuffo is prosecuted and convicted so that there will be a rerun. So that is what came. Exactly. So he brought, he who lives by the sword would die by the sword. He caused this. He caused this.
Confessed, and we had evidence to that effect. He should have been removed from office.
Yes, but the tape was played here.
No.
The tape was played in court.
I say that it was right, but upon such information, if it had reached the president, you should have removed him.
By national security fees, the president. Yes, that's what we're saying. But the president was very happy with Godfrey Dami. Godfrey Dami is his beloved, this is son. That is what this Akuffo likes. Also, can say Tiwa, Yechiro Mukakrebi. Akuffo likes violence. He says Tiwa. He said it. He said the Tiwa violence. Yechiro Mukakrebi. Has he ever apologized for it?
You were making the point
before. He said Tiwa violence. Yechiro Mukakrebi. It's all Akuffo who said it. You can Google it. When the violence in the by-election, I
don't want you to digress. You were making the point.
Yes, and so Apia Kubi's point is that if Akuffo had heard about the tape was admitted in evidence in court, where Godfrey Dami said Akuffo and Oforiata were on his neck to ensure that Akuffo would be prosecuted and convicted so that there would be a by-election. And you know, that's a parliament that had a 138, and then Isiama, the Fomena MP, had to work with the MPP. Then they got a very small, minuscule majority, right? So if there had been that by-election, then they would do a lot of machinations to get that seat too, right? So that is the record that Oforiata has built for himself. So because he knows he's done a lot of wrong, that is why he's afraid. That's why. Look at the banking licenses. Apart from, look at the untold hardships. Look at how he ran down state insurance, SIC. A lot of the businesses from SIC were hived off and given to his insurance company, Enterprise. Enterprise Insurance, state insurance, they were crying. They would see you and say, cancel. Munkebi Maye. All the businesses were now being diverted from state insurance to Enterprise. We borrow, then Oforiata's company makes money. The bonds. Ghana borrows, then Oforiata's company makes money. So that's Akuffo and his family becoming rich. That is the legacy he left behind. Please, I'm saying it. Okay. Look, Mr. when you have your time, say yours. You can't gaggle me. Every time, be careful. I would never. Just know that you and I are different.
Okay, hold on.
Stop. Every time you want to moderate.
Hold on.
No, I'm not. No, I just want you to know that he can never change me.
Make your point.
No, he's not coming. I just want you to know that he can never change me. You are called Apia Kubi. I'm called Pebu. The two names are the same.
Hold on.
Yes, but not when I'm making my point.
Make your point.
No, there's nothing. Yes, so I'm saying Ghana borrows, then Data Bank make their cut. Ghana borrows, then Data Bank makes their cut, the bonds. So there was an incentive to keep borrowing, no matter how the money was used. Yeah? And then in no time, we became debt-ridden. So these are the things that are driving his fears. He knows the mess he created. Look Look at the bonds, the haircuts. Look at the pensioners who died. Look at Kama, Dr. Ejekum. Ejekum was crying, Kama Health, etc. Look at the people who died. So he is scared because of his own negative legacy, not what anybody will do. That Keke Kabubu song, maybe we should play it. Or the boy, nobody, you know it, right? Nobody do. Running away, nobody do. So he knows what he's done. He knows what he's done. That's why he's running away. Please don't put this on any other person. Look, we live in Ghana. Some months ago, when the state took Abronye, very vituperous in his utterances, he would insult everybody. Yet, when the law, the way they treated him was against law, I stood up. Domlevo also stood up. Look at Domlevo. Very good. So that is it. That's our society. And yes. So why is Ofori-Atta's fear? Let's start this in. A year ago, when Ofori-Atta left, at that time, I didn't know he was deceiving us, and I didn't know Kisei Jabin saw him leave. If you play back the tape, I was against the OSP for what they were doing, because I said, the man informed the state agencies that he's going for medical checkup. What's your business with this? Check. Let's play back. You see how I defended Ofori-Atta. So I think if today Ofori-Atta comes back and the state keeps him beyond 48 hours, I'll not talk for Ofori-Atta. I'll do that. I stood up for Abronye. Meanwhile, we all know how Abronye, people were calling me on that, say Abronye is insulting IGP, he's insulted President Mahama, all that. And you see, Kwachi Fosuivi minister, you see, he didn't even, he risked his position because the party hawks will say...
I publicly disagreed with the judge and demanded his immediate release.
Exactly, yes, I think we're here.
We rein in excesses by security agents.
Thank you. So our society is changed. So me, talking today, if Ofori-Atta were to come today and were to keep him, even we don't have to wait for a 48 hours to elapse. So in the Pebu number 4, verse Attorney General number 4, so for Akuffo's valedictory judgment, what she said and what the Supreme Court unanimously, that the moment it becomes clear to you that you don't want to admit the person to bail within the 48 hours, start going to the court. Don't wait. The law is not that wait for 48 hours to expire. Yeah. So if Ofori-Atta, this is the promise, the pledge I'm making. Ofori-Atta comes, look, from the first hour, and this is how it shows you how our democracy is growing. We would be here, Facebook, TV3, monitoring. Yes, OSP, are you admitting him to bail? If you are not, what steps are you taking? Are we going to court? We will make sure that Ofori-Atta would enter court before the 48 hours if they will not admit him to bail. Ghana is changed. I mean, how? I can't come and sit here and say because of the things he's done, they should keep him. No. So this is fears. They are unfounded if they are based on what others will do. Rather, I think it is the negative legacy he has built, the way he's enriched his family at the expense of the state. That is what is haunting him. That is what is haunting him. He now knows that Akuffo occupies his seat. The Akuffo, he's on tape to have told Godfrey Dami said on tape that he, Ofori-Atta, was saying that he should pursue Akuffo by hook or by crook, etc. That is what is haunting him. The bonds, the Ken bonds, Franklin Templeton, the Ghana boroughs, then the Akufo-Addo's family makes money. That is what is killing him, not Ghanaians. We would not do anything like that. So he should come and face the music. And then let's repeat this story. You know the part about he refusing to see Ambassador Smith. I mentioned it last week briefly. Let's go over it. You know there's this joke. When Reagan was shot in 1981, Reagan, that's ex-president of the United States, whilst they were taking him to do surgery, on their way to the theater, he stopped and then he asked the doctors that, hey, I hope you are all Republicans. The lead doctor was a known Democrat, very popular, Joseph Giordani. I mean, forgive my accent. I don't. It sounds like Italian or that. So the man was an obvious, a very popular surgeon. He said, Mr. President, today we are all Republicans, but he was a Democrat. So my point is that Ambassador Smith, the fact that Ofori-Atta doesn't want to see you is because you're of different political persuasions. So he's scared that if his data gets you, not that you leak it, but he's just scared that something will go wrong. So Ofori-Atta is not the first to attempt to refuse help from a political opponent.
But then it depends on the kind of help. Mr. Smith, is it not? I mean, it's protocol that you were following.
But yes, it was a protocol, but at the same time, whilst you're with him, he may express something he would wish would be done for him, whichever way. I was going to go and listen to him and then maybe share it with the government.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to discuss. I wasn't going to discuss the merits of his case at all. It was his person and his well-being.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I get it. I get. Oh, I understand. Okay. We all know, but generally, sometimes it gets to certain situations, right? Kofi and the rest, and Akuffo is in PR. He will tell you he's the president's spokesperson. There are certain times, even some questions, the comment. When they ask you a question and you don't want to say anything, if you say no comment, even no comment itself can lead. Exactly. So sometimes when they pose the question, depending on how sensitive it is, you just walk away. You won't say no comment. So Ambassador Smith, his fears are well founded. I mean, he's human. You can't take his fears away from him, right? That's just to put that in perspective, so that those say no, he should have allowed Ambassador Smith to come. No. That is how he feels. Right. Exactly. Okay. Let's leave that one at that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Council, Professor Bob King on this. This is not an area where you want to play, but I seek your thoughts in the context.
More than qualifies to comment.
You are advising Bawumia.
No. I mean, look.
No.
Yes.
But what I mean is that we are talking about the former finance minister, and it's an area that he was active in, so he more than qualifies to.
Thank you very much. So, some caveat here, and Ghanaians should forgive me. I'm not a lawyer, so a lot of these things.
You are smarter than most lawyers.
This and all of that. I mean, let me also say that I was one of the earliest people on record to have asked Ken to resign.
No, okay.
So
I wasn't wrong. That's true.
No.
It was clear. It was clear.
Yeah. And let me also put on record that I also supported Ken's appointment strongly when it was announced. I do not run away from that. I had this considered view.
You didn't support the consequences of this.
Oh, of course.
You did not support.
I saw the signs. Actually, you were there, that Imani presentation, when we were exiting the
People
IMF
don't
program.
know the wahala we gave Ken.
So
I led the Japanese in E-Levy and Co. So we are not holding brief. Sorry, please finish what you have.
No, I just want to give this background. I mean, we mean well for this country.
Yes.
And we feel that Ghana deserves well. So we more or less, and we openly disagreed with some of Ken's policies. In fact, I disagreed with E-Levy with all my strength, even though I don't know where that strength and what it yielded at the end of the day. And all of that. So clearly, the way Ken managed the economy and all of that, and certain key decisions and all of that, clearly does not put him in a certain positive light with maybe majority of Ghanaians. Okay, so as I said, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I understand GDP much more than this thing. So that's why I wanted to leave. Let me also put that on record. I wanted to run away
but I prevailed on you to stay. I beg you. Indeed.
So and all of that. So a lot has happened, and I feel Ken missed the point significantly, especially also with the domestic debt exchange. Pensioners, we felt strongly that they could have been excluded. And the picketing at Ministry of Finance and all of that. I mean, there were, look, probably time has passed and all of that. But after, this is also the other thing I have observed. I could be wrong. In this country, anytime there's a regime change and how certain prominent cases are handled, and sometimes we hear things about weaponizing bail and all of that, again, to show people where power lies and all of that, really hasn't disappeared totally. For the little while that I've observed the space, anytime that we've seen regime change and all of that, I don't want to say probably it's the judges or whatever, but there's a certain level of perception that if you're a politically exposed person, depending on
we ain't some who write me cause watch channel so mamma so jimre or send us over no area don't be edumia ne basambo rem na yaksuma kwanso ko so